Hey there. So it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and I really wanted to make this video. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected. I've been quite busy this week, but I really wanted to come on and talk about it. And the purpose of the video is really to offer some inspiration, some encouragement, and maybe some tips and advice if you're battling mental health in any shape or form. And obviously, it's different for everybody, and there's different types of mental health illness. And so, but I'm sure something I'm going to say, but I hope it's just going to give that little bit of inspiration and way forward. And if you around someone and you may not know, but if you are around someone, I'll give you some tips on maybe how you can help with them. If you've got any comments you want to share, pop them down below as we're talking. So mental health has been a journey for me. I've been through depression. I've been on tablets in the past. In fact, when I bought out the share of Cheltenham Martial Arts, I was going through it quite severely. And I've often talked about it on my Mindset Explosion videos and podcasts. So if you want to find out more, it's all there. So I don't really want to necessarily go through, the experience of that. But what I've realized, it has been probably more part as I got older, really, and where I am now, that it's probably part of me now. It's part of my life. It's a bit like a cup of it was Bruce Lee say, right, with the glass of water, the water becomes the cup and the cup becomes the water. They're all part of one. So it's really been about me understanding where I'm having these peaks and these troughs, which I do go through. Because I'm the role I have in teaching and where I was teaching martial arts or fitness, kickboxing, and even coming on with mindset, I'm in a different place now. And yes, I'm better, but also, I have my dips. I do have my dips, and I have my challenges. I have that little gremlin that stands on my shoulder and says, "Are you sure you can do this? You're no good today." And I go from periods of feeling totally exhausted and tired and not getting sleep. And I even have those thoughts of, of maybe a little bit of doubt or whatever, where I don't necessarily believe so much in myself. So they're always there. And I've realized it's been part of my life, and I've just gone through it. But I've learned to, battle those demons, I guess. And I'll give some tips on there. And this year, I think obviously, look, we've been through COVID, so that was straight away for I'd say most people was going to be a mental health challenge for our children, for people around us, but even for ourselves. And I guess what I learned to do last year was I focused on helping others. Because it's a big part of me, while I was going through those fears at the same time. So launching straight into, right, how can I make this work? How can I make this work? How can we get through this? Was a big thing to help me cope with it last year. And pretty much that was okay. But I found this last lockdown extremely tough. Now, I don't know whether it's because it was the time of year, it was darker, we couldn't go out, all those things. And again, it just brought some extra worries and isolation, all these things. So I think it's important that we have that awareness of ourselves. And the reason I want to say it is because, I've had some big wins, and even though I was going through that, I had to really push myself to get up in the morning. Right, I need to get on a phone call today. I need to pursue my goal, my dream. Some days, though, I would say, you know what, I'm absolutely not today. Not today. I need a break today. And I think sometimes we get caught up worrying about, I can't do, I shouldn't be resting. I got to be going. I got to hustle. I got to do this all the time. Especially if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, sometimes that's a bit of, sometimes the surroundings that I've been around, it's always about, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. But no, you need to take a rest sometimes as well. It's really, really important. And don't, when I was going through the depression quite, I don't know whether it was severe, whatever, it felt severe to me because I really was not in a good place. I slept so much. I'd just be exhausted the whole time. My tongue, my dentist, actually, I said, I think I keep biting my tongue. I had these big teeth imprints in there. And he said, no, you're pushing your tongue up into your teeth. They're pushing it right up. So it left like a print as if I'd been biting my tongue. So, and I didn't realize I was doing that. so it was like this tension inside. So I would be exhausted by the end of the day, particularly weekend. It's just, oh, I just need to go to sleep. And then you start feeling guilty about it. Whereas that wasn't, I didn't really understand as much as I do now about that and about myself and how it affects me. So if you need to take a rest and don't feel bad about it. If someone's got a problem with it, that's their problem. It's not your problem, if that makes sense. And I think that's really, really important, to not feel bad or guilty about any of the emotions that you're going through. It's really not going to serve you. And that's quite important. Now, if you've not been through mental health, hopefully you never will, but a lot of people will at some point, or they have the experience of being around someone that is going through mental health issues, or has a mental health challenge that they're battling, and you may never ever know. Hence the reason why it's so much now, be kind. Think before you say things to someone, think before you speak, before you jump in on something, because we never know the full story. There's always a bit more to that. And sometimes it so even if you get insulted by someone, just ask if they're okay, because maybe they're not okay. We're not okay if they're insulting someone anyway. Generally, that's something I've learned. But ask if they're okay, and allow them. It's not easy, because I've also been on the other side where someone just, they need a break. They just need that time out, or they're hiding away. But you just need to allow them to do it. All you can do is be there. If you can't break through to someone. So it can become like a bit of a two-way battle, especially when you're going through your own challenges. And that's really important. It's like being on a plane, when they say put your mask on first. So if someone's going through that, all you can do is be there. And if they're able to talk, fantastic. You can try and encourage it. But like for me, sometimes I had to talk when I wanted to talk. And if someone was pestering me to talk, it unfortunately for me, I'm not saying it'd be the same for anyone else, it really didn't help. And that's sometimes why it's difficult giving tips, because in your head when you're going for it, yeah, I should get up, I should go out and have a walk, I should go and exercise, yes, I should have a healthy meal now. But there's also a part of you that really can be quite, it's almost like stopping you from doing that. So it's a difficult one when you're going for it. I do understand you need a lot of empathy, like if you're around someone that is going through that. But what I learned to do is that I just think, well, do you know what? Today is an off day. I'm going to write this one off, and tomorrow I'll sort that out. And that's been a great coping mechanism for me now. So the next day, I'm not going for that again. What a waste of a day. But I don't feel so bad about it. So I think in the past that would make me feel worse. So, oh no, I've wasted the day, and oh no. And so, and it's like built up on that, inner guilt and messing with your inner peace, I suppose. So that's pretty much it, really. Like, this has been a challenging year mentally for me. But I didn't let it stop me. I caught my post yesterday, just completed on purchasing a new business, and the Academy's won an award for the most outstanding martial arts centre for children in Gloucestershire last week. So all these things can go on. And on the other note, when like what we see on social media, you don't always see what's going on in the background. And that's, again, being aware of people around you, and look for signs that, if something's changing in someone's character a little bit, or maybe the way they are, the way they're walking, the way they're talking. It doesn't take much to ask if they're okay, or at least look out for them. And if they want to talk, listen. Okay, I think that's the best advice, is just to listen and let them talk it out. If they want advice, then give it. It's not always easy sometimes, I know, because like we can be quite compelled to say, oh, why don't you just do this? But it's not always that easy to do this. There's lots of things about whatever that person's going through, because if it's an eating disorder, you haven't been through it, it's very difficult I couldn't understand that. It'd be difficult for me to give that advice. But what I can do is I can have that empathy of, well, I've been through depression, so I've got that kind of connection. Does that make sense? So look, if you are going for anything, and we see it all the time, and if you're going to post those things, I hope you stay true to it. Yeah, you can come and talk to me. reach out to someone. And yes, you can reach out to me, and if it's something I can't help with, I will find someone that will, because that's very important as well. And yes, talking does help. I used to live near to Coney Hill Hospital, or it's Barker Flats now in Gloucestershire, and there was something in the clock tower. It's now flats, but it said we carry one another's burdens. And every time I walk the dog, my dog around there, I'd always look up at that, and it's always stuck with me, because we do, when you take that off, just being able to talk about it, listening to someone else. It may not mean much when you're listening, but for them, you have just taken such a heavy load off. And actually, by talking about it, what I found is, if there was, my head is like a washing machine sometimes. it's like it's every day, and I'm always thinking, I'm thinking of the next opportunity, what I can do, but also how on the negative effect it can mean I overthink all kinds of crazy things sometimes. So I have to really keep control of that. But once I talk it out, it feels so much better. A lot of the point of me doing the videos initially was, it was for my own benefit with the mindset explosion. It was to, reconditioning myself, getting myself reprogrammed to a point where I was, in terms of, my personal development. So there's so many ways of, battling through that. But I caught a post the other day, and someone else was saying a similar thing, really. And it really made me think that, social media, everything looks so great. We just bought a business, and there's a new this and new that, and everything this is happening. But there's also another side of it, and I think it's really, really important that we share it as much as we can. There's some great groups out there. I know the Dudes and Dogs for men within I think that's quite almost global now. So look up these things, find a group, and find one that resonates with you. I'm sure there's ones for females as well, and get yourself in there. And as long as it's, from my opinion, from my point of view, as long as it's positive, that's in there, not all the time. Hey, come on. So if I give an example of the Dudes and Dogs group, and what I see in there, like guys are coming in now and just saying, I've had a real down day, and everyone's jumping in. Hey, don't know where is here for you. Just a few words of encouragement. Don't be afraid to do that. But you got to find what works for you. For me personally, I probably wouldn't put that in a group. That's just me, but that's something for me to work on maybe. But I have my close circle that I can talk to, and I know the people. And there's some, and it's no disrespect to anybody in particular, but there's some I can just I'm going to tell you. I can tell you everything, and some I maybe won't speak to. But that's just working out, and it's having that right. Well, again, it's having that right group of people around you. My mum's left a comment. Let's see. Yes, of course, my mum worked in the mental health sector as well, you worked at Coney Hill as well, didn't you? So look, if you're going for it, there's people there. Okay, try and reach out. And I've reached out in the past, and but I didn't know if they would be the right or wrong person. I just didn't know. And I know there was a few words said, and maybe it's just not anything to them, but what was said back, it did knock me. So if that does happen, if you find someone that doesn't maybe understand, or they say, like, you just got to move on. Doesn't mean you move on from them as such, but you move on and you find the next person that will be able to listen to you. All right, but what's important is you're doing it to find a way out, and because the worst thing you can do is stay there. I've come across so many people that it's like they just got to stay in that thing. So it's about it's taking those little steps out. And if you're going for depression, I always go off a grief curve to see where I am, and because I feel it's true for so many things, just about how we're feeling emotionally. Just because it says grief, it doesn't mean it's necessarily about grief. But at the bottom is depression, and naturally it's as you're coming back up, coming back out. And as you go up, you can see it's about reconnecting with others, and there's helping. Okay, so I feel like when you can help, it's a big step forward. And I've learned that. I think that's what kept me on track when I first started teaching, because I felt like I was doing such a good cause and helping so many people, release their potential. I was in such a great place, and then it overwhelmed myself and exhausted myself and loads of other stuff that was going on. So, and then I dipped back down. So it can feel like, days like this when you're at the extreme, and this is just from my own experience, you can feel like you could wake up in the morning and feel great, and about an hour later you're right at rock bottom, and then you can feel great again. And I think that's really something to understand. And I know a few of my friends have experienced this, where, and then it looks like you're lying, but you're not, if that makes sense. So if you've not been through it, understand anyone that's around you that's going through that, it can be a roller coaster, because you don't want to feel that way. And it is up and down. It's literally, you could wake up feeling so rubbish for most of the day, and the day could just finish. So you think, why was I going through that? So it can really control, and it's like this, and then it slowly starts to get better, and then you're coming out of it until you're climbing up, and then it might be like a drop down, but don't let a drop down defeat you. That's sometimes part of the process. I treat it now as when I'm feeling like that inside, it's time for me to rest. It's time for me to take a break, and I'm just going to have a chill out day. I'm not going to stress about it. If I got emails, if I got people trying to get hold of me, as often I just turn my phone off. I'm sure people have sent me messages and I can see it there. I'm just not going to answer it. I just leave it. I have to push that aside. And that is so important. And even sometimes in the circle I had when I was going for extreme, and I had some close people, sometimes they just had to say, you know what, Matt, I need a break from this today. And if you're that helper, it is okay to say that. It's okay to say that, because you're like, how I deal with it is up to me. All right. Yes, we may need something, but oops, got a phone call. We may need that help, but like, you got to look after number one first. Okay. Very, very important, especially when you're going through. You can come back to it, but so important. If you're helping someone, yes, help them, be there, listen. But if it's consuming you, don't be afraid to take. I just need a step back from its day. And I've a couple of friends that have said, I don't want to put it on you. I don't want to put it on you. I don't want to burden you with this. You're not. And I've just said, look, if it gets too much, I'll tell you. I'll take a step back, and but I'll be right back to you as soon as I can. Hasn't had to happen, but I think, be clear of those boundaries, I think. Anyway, I've talked a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I do hope that's helped. Thank you, Alison. Hope that's helped in some ways. But the most important thing is that I have had some great wins this week, his last couple of weeks, and I've worked hard through it. So if you are going through stuff, and it was challenging for me this year, like, there's always a way. Tomorrow's a new day. You can come back out of it. If you've been through it in the past and got through it, I think you don't want to go back there. But I would say, from my point of view, I felt like I just got that edge, as in, I've been through this. All right, I don't want to feel like that again, even though some of the thoughts were coming back a little bit. And I just had to keep going. I just had to keep going with what I was, I'm pursuing my dreams. And everything else that is going on. So around us, there's probably someone, if we haven't been through it, around us, there definitely is someone that's either gone through it or has gone through it. You may know about it. Chances are you probably won't know about it, especially if there's certain illnesses that can, someone's poorly, it's probably going to trigger off some kind of mental illness as well. That's something, I've seen. And I think, because you may not know, just be kind. Just be kind. And if you see something different in someone, ask if they're okay. If they want to talk, they talk. But you can keep a check on them. Okay, just check in on them every now and then. I think my mum said the doctors used to say when people didn't say stuff, they were the ones that they worried about the most. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and go and do something in the rain, because it's raining here. Go and dance and scream outside your doors. Ah! sometimes a little bit of daftness did help me. All right. Oh, before I forget, yes, as we started to come out of lockdown, I made a decision on my healthy eating and my fitness. So that has helped dramatically. I still have my little dips, okay, but it has helped a lot. So if you can't join up some kind of fitness class or gym, if it's not for you, get yourself out at least a 10-minute walk every day. If you hate exercise, I know, I understand. Still try and do it anyway. I felt in the mornings, and it's understanding where you're kind of dipping. So the mornings I struggle. I really don't want to get out of bed, and that's sometimes the hardest part. So I have to get myself up almost immediately. It's almost like this time frame, and as it narrows up, then it's going to determine what kind of day I'm going to have. And my eating, I've kind of signed up to Mindful Chef, so I just feel like I'm eating much better. I'm kind of really enjoying cooking again. So apart from that, it's just having a few goals have helped as well, and working towards them. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Bye bye.